Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new update right here on Ethereum. We're going to do a full update on Ethereum. We'll talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, what that means for the price action today. We'll talk about ETF inflows for Ethereum, which we have some meaningful things to talk about. And we'll talk about important levels that we need to hold. I mean, in all honesty, at this point of time, like what I've said for Ethereum, I think yesterday as well, or at least I was thinking a little bit like yesterday, I'm not certain if I said that we were going to drop down into this level right here at 2750, which was the last naked point of control, right? I mean, when we were consolidating here at the top last week, we had three major naked points of control, which usually get tested. One at 2940, that got tested very, very quickly. One at 2830, tested very quickly as well. And then the last one at 2750, which we have dropped down all the way into earlier yesterday, and so far we've been able to hold that. So that's good. That was also to be expected, but ultimately dropping down all the way to the last naked point of control right there is a bearish sign, right? I mean, if Ethereum would be bullish, it would have found support right here at either the first or the second one, and we would have found strong support there, which we didn't, and we would have rallied up. So generally, the situation for Ethereum is not amazing. Like I still do think, and that is what I've said for the last couple of days as well, and for the last week, I still do think that Ethereum is forming a local bottom right here, right? So if we zoom all the way out, let me quickly fix my charts here. If we zoom all the way out, I do think this support level that we have found earlier between 2700 and 2800, not specifically, but that's the general area. I do think from there we can find some more support than what we've seen so far. So far, we've gotten a move into the yearly rolling VWAP, which is a very strong resistance level. So it's definitely not nothing, and it's not strange that we found such strong resistance there. But I do think we can move into that again. I think we can consolidate down here a little bit, and I think we can potentially get a move into 3200. I said that for the entire last week. I still do believe that. However, I do think generally the technical development that we've seen, the price action that we've seen from Ethereum is bearish, more bearish than expected. And ultimately what we're also seeing is that the fundamentals around the markets are also not amazing. If you look at ETF inflows, we've had outflows of about $80 million yesterday, very much driven by grayscale, which is something that doesn't always happen, but that is the place obviously where a lot of selling pressure can be expected from. That's also the main place where we got a lot of selling pressure from when the Ethereum ETF launched. This will be critical to watch to see if we actually continue to get outflows, which would be very bearish. And then outside of that, from a technical perspective, what we really need to see is a strong reaction right here in this level between 2760 and 2780. Now that is partially that naked point of control where we found support yesterday, which is a good thing. But outside of that, we also left the fair value gap after the move up yesterday evening, and that is the previous day value area low. So yesterday, eventually we formed value between 2760 and 2880, fall down below 2760, and it becomes much more likely that this is not going to be the bottom and that we're going to drop down into the next support level, which would be this area right here around 2500, which would be another drop of about, what is it, like 15% or so, 10%. So that is not what we want. Ultimately, given the way that the fundamentals look, the general markets, the general financial market fundamentals, so that I'm talking about unrest, I'm talking about the S&P 500, I'm talking about a few relevant fundamentals for Bitcoin, which Ethereum is obviously very correlated to. Given those, I would still say it's most likely that we will be able to get a good reaction here and that we will be able to get some more recovery into 2880 and into 2930. There we have a single print. We have the point of control of the first move down yesterday, high volume move. We have the 7-day rolling VWAP. I think upside for now is capped there. I don't think we are strong enough, especially with the ETF inflows and the other fundamentals, to move up above that. Getting there, I think it's most likely. Stability, I think is most likely. And then if we see some sort of positive development from that stability, we can move into that level at 3150 and to 3200, like I said at the start of the video. But that is not something I would trade because of at this point of time, right? If that makes sense. But those are my thoughts. That's what I think you need to know regarding Ethereum at this point of time. If you do have any questions, let me know down in the comments. For now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.